Hello and welcome to the first project from The Heel Project. This is The Heel Podcast. I am Link the Legend.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Pete.
Right. So, what we want to talk about then, boys? So, what's been happening in wrestling this week then, lads?
There's been a bit.
Gotta be honest, I haven't really watched a lot.
What a great start.
I've watched the highlights. That's about it.
I've watched pretty much everything because that's what I do.
So, what? Let's go right back then. What happened last week? So NXT in your house. What was our points from NXT in your house?
The set was the high point, in my opinion. I think it was the only high point.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
It was a very lackluster pay-per-view, wasn't it?
It was one of their worst. It could be their worst.
And the sad thing is, it was still probably the best thing WWE produced for a while at that point.
I enjoyed Money in the Bank. I actually enjoyed Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
that wasn't that.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll give you that.
So,
yeah.
But no, I would say it's probably the worst NXT takeover of all time. I will go out on a limb and say all the time because it's been consistently good and better than the main product since it started with the arrival. So I think it is just the worst one they've done, which is sad. It really is.
It's definitely up as well, especially with the Evan Cole match. I was really looking forward to that. Yeah,
me too. And it didn't live up to it.
No.
It just didn't. The Gargano, it was Gargano fighting Keith Lee.
Yeah,
that should have been so much better. Gargano is one of my favourites of current rosters, and it wasn't great.
The doorbell spot. That match was great. The doorbell spot completely ruined that whole match.
Yeah.
He literally started the match with the key in his shorts and then ran up to the door banging on the door because he couldn't get in because it was locked. He locked it. He knew it was locked. He had the key. And it's a set that he could literally just walk around it. It just, I completely lost it at that point. I was like, nah, this is terrible. Like, I enjoy comedy when it's done well in wrestling. We'll get to that actually with Backlash, but I didn't enjoy that. I didn't enjoy it at all. It really put me out. I just, after that match, I think at that point I'd switched off. Not literally switched off, but I was just
kind of wish you did.
I mean, the carrying Cross Ciampa match was actually quite good,
but
it was predictable and it was essentially a squash.
Yeah, that's the thing. We all knew it was going to be like that.
Yeah,
it's just
I think that's why I had high hopes for the Adam Cole match because I really didn't know which way they were going to go with it.
Yeah.
Knowing that it was Dream can't fight Cole for the title again while Cole's champion, I thought maybe they'd give it over now.
Where was that filmed? Because we were looking at it.
It was at the Performance Centre.
Was it?
Yeah, it was at a back lot at the Performance Centre.
You were saying it was like Chicago, wasn't it, Alex?
It was actually NXT Stars or Performance Center recruits, as they're known. They're not allowed to be called NXT Stars, remember? It was Performance Center recruits were told to drive to work that day so that they could park their cars in the back lot to make it look like they've got the cars around.
Yeah. I was disappointed by that. There wasn't really much else going on for a lot of me. Nothing. And then later.
The main event.
I'll try to watch the Dream match with an open mind, but I think I just can't do it at the moment. I just
Yeah.
There's too much going on with it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for that reason, that match just I think that's all I need to say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The biggest shock of the night, disappointed everyone, just made it flat with the main event.
What even was the main event? Okay.
The triple threat women's match.
Yeah.
What?
It was the biggest shock and it just kind of killed it.
In hindsight, I completely understand why they've done that now.
The frustration for me is, yes, Charlotte loses the title and goes up and comes back. And we'll get onto it, but Rhea Ripley should have come with her. And there should have been a feud going on Raw or SmackDown and boost the women's divisions outside of the main titles. And it would have left Io Shirai with was it 6 in a 3-on-3 from earlier in the night?
Yeah, 6 women in the first match of the night.
Yeah, and they could have grown whilst going for the title, and I think they could have had a lot more spotlight on.
That's the only way they could have done it. They've missed a massive trick with that.
I think
completely
so.
agree.
Unless they're leaving Rhea versus Charlotte again until we can have a few more actual real audience members. Because I think it was built from that there would be a crowd when they started the storyline, and
I mean, to be fair, if those two ever wrestle each other again, it needs to be a crowd so that it doesn't sound like I'm watching adult entertainment. They are very loud women when they wrestle.
They're vocal performers. Yes.
Yes, they are very vocal.
Right. So I think that's what's covered with NXT in your house. Someone's got to enlighten me on because I didn't watch it completely.
I don't think anything good happened. I don't remember anything good happening.
Did you say?
Say again.
Did you say on Raw?
Yeah.
Do you actually said? I actually spoke to you after this, and you went. Did you know the women's tag team titles changed hands? Yeah, you said the women's title changed.
I did. I didn't realise while watching the show. I actually watched it. Remember watching it, and just had no idea that there was a tag title match even on the show. Let alone that the tag titles had changed hands while I was watching. It just. So I don't know what happened with my memory on that match, or my memory on the whole show, really, because I know I watched it. I definitely watched it. I just don't remember any of it, I guess.
Yeah. Are we happy with Sasha and Bayley winning the titles at this point? Winning them back? Or are we just not interested?
I think that's the thing. We've lost interest. A lot of people have, because it's just going backwards and forwards and backwards. Just do something with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting to see Bayley and Sasha win it because they're obviously going to break up soon. But
then that's been on the cards for a good year or so now.
I missed the perfect opportunity a few months ago to do it. We all thought it was going to happen, and then it's forgot about. And they might do it again now. Just get a bit boring.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think it's very in it when it first came in. Not even slightly interested in the title anymore. It's gone the same way as the 24/7 title.
I think it's just really stale there now.
See, I like the 24/7 title.
I like R-Truth, and I don't like the title, and that's it. I like R-Truth.
He makes it. He does make it.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a 24/7 without Truth.
It was a bit like
Maverick, but Truth the one for me. Next up, we had NXT on Wednesday. I'm going to need reminding of that.
That's where Scarlett came out at the end with the time glass and put it down for Adam Cole.
Okay.
So Cross is going to be the next challenger, I would assume, for the title.
But having squashed Ciampa, that was going to be fairly bloody obvious, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Who else is going to be ahead of Cross if he's squashing Ciampa?
Yeah,
that's true.
What Dream? And that leaves Adam Cole with nobody.
Dexter Loomis as well. He's a very interesting character at the moment on NXT.
I got to say, he interests me. I haven't watched a lot of NXT. I watched in your house. I was like, who the hell's that guy? And he looks like he could add something to it. They just got to be careful not to ruin him like they have done with a fair few others.
But mind you, they really rate Keith Lee really highly as well, didn't they? So you're going to see Keith Lee.
Love him.
He's going to.
He's got to be my, probably my second favourite. Well, probably third actually around, because I've always liked Ciampa and Gargano. Loved him in DIY. I still love him now. But Keith Lee's certainly after that one now.
Yeah.
Right. I don't watch this even in the slightest, even when I do watch the wrestling. So what's happened on AEW and any other shows this week? So TNA. You've got some news or rumor?
I haven't caught up with TNA properly yet. But I know TNA, there's rumours, I don't know, it might have even happened by now, that Heath Slater might be going over. There's a few people. I've heard people like EC3 being mentioned again. There's quite a few. All the ones that have been released are being talked about. But yeah, Heath Slater's put saying that
basically the start of those rumours were the advert for Slammiversary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember it exactly, so I'm paraphrasing slightly, but it was essentially a video package showing all of the recently released WWE guys during their TNA days beforehand, and all of their clips from TNA, like EC3 and countless others, before it just ended. Basically, that was the whole video package, was just that, and then the Slammiversary logo, because apparently the 30 or 90 day no compete clause ends on the day of Slammiversary. So
the thing is, if people like Heath Slater, EC3 and that went over, I would give it a watch again just to see what they're doing. Because I was
Heath Slater's a different one, because obviously he wasn't there before. So the Heath Slater thing was in a backstage segment with
Rhino, wasn't it?
Someone. Rhino speaking to someone backstage that he just teamed with, and they had a bad match or something. I've watched it, and again, it's just gone. But basically, at the end, he's like, "I've already got a partner, and he's got kids." It's kind of obvious who it's going to be.
I watched it. I used to watch Big 3 was in it, and he was really, really good in it. He was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I liked TNA back in the day when, sort of around the time that Jeff Hardy debuted there, onto like when Christian was there as Captain Charisma, and he was the world champion at one point, and like that's when it was really, really good for me. And like I'm a massive Christian fan. If you watched his work in TNA back then, he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
I think, and it's no point me saying it because you all know, but it went downhill once Hogan went there. Once they tried to compete with WWE, and they tried to do this, that, and the other, they ran before they could walk. They spent more money than they had, and eventually it just crumbled.
They were good for their own company. They were good, up and coming. Just like you had younger wrestlers when AJ Styles was starting out, when he was in there. You had people you had people like Christopher Daniels.
I'd say TNA back then was better than AEW is now.
Yeah,
they had a brilliant roster. Brilliant wrestlers.
The TNA back then was the only reason I watch any wrestling now. Anyway, that AJ Styles is my all-time favorite, and that is why, because of TNA. It's not because of WWE or New Japan. It is TNA. Because
you look at the Samoa Joe,
the challenge.
Massive.
Back when he was in Triple X with Elix Skipper and Kaz?
Can't remember.
It may have been Kaz. It might not have been Kaz. I think it was Kaz.
Someone
will tell me. Someone will tell us. I'm sure we'll get corrected if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So tell us in the comments.
Yeah. There we go.
Correct link. It's always fun when you correct him. My question for you two lads today, my biggest one that's left, WWE, furloughed, sacked, whatever you want to say, Rusev. Where's he going? Predictions.
I honestly don't know.
No, I think
Well,
he really could go anywhere.
He could.
Like where he wanted to, because I tell you what, he's a brilliant wrestler, brilliant character.
He will go to TNA or Impact, whatever they're calling themselves nowadays.
Yeah.
Or he'll go to AEW. He won't go to Japan.
No, I think
definitely be over here.
Not with his wife over here still.
Exactly.
Over here, America.
They'll use the gimmick still.
I think it's going to be a swerve. I think he's not going to. I think he's going to be back.
No, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy before all of this. I think they just gave him an excuse.
Maybe that's my heart.
Quite a while, didn't it? It was going on for quite a while with the complaints and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like even when he got given the match with Taker at Saudi, whatever it was, the casket match.
Oh yeah.
Like he wasn't happy about that even. So like, he just wasn't happy in that company.
It was a bit like what the throw back in her face when everyone got furloughed and he went and made a donation, didn't he, to cover some of the money that he lost.
Yeah, literally like a week later. A week later.
I say it'll be a big miss from up, down, down, because he's appeared on there a few times and he's always a good character. He's a nice bloke. I'd love to see him back, but it is what it is.
From when he first started, he was painted.
I just hope he's successful. I don't care where he goes, what he does. I just hope he's successful because the guy is, like you say, he just seems a genuinely good guy.
He's definitely one of the deserved.
I think the one thing that I'll remember from his whole career, more than anything, is that random Snapchat video with Sheamus and they were putting Total Divas on.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't know what I'm talking about, everybody, go look it up. It's worth it. I can't repeat what you said.
Right, following on from Impact and AEW, what happened in SmackDown? Because I obviously didn't watch it because I clearly don't watch wrestling. But I saw the results and I completely skimmed over the part that my favourite all-time wrestler is now Intercontinental Champion.
Even the boys, all the curveball clues that were given out because everyone thought it was Daniel Bryan.
Well, I mean, Brie Bella even shared a post that she deleted straight away of the Intercontinental title belt with the yes, yes, yes plates on it.
Yeah, and I think that's why my brain decided that it wasn't going to be Styles, it was going to be Bryan because I'd seen that. And I completely missed it. And I only found out when I watched Backlash last night. So,
well, I mean, that match was fantastic. Like, obviously, it's Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. It was a great match.
It's going to be, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no way could those two put on a bad match. I don't think it's possible. I really don't.
Why was it not Backlash?
Yeah, I said that about Nakamura and AJ Styles.
That's where I was about to say when I was saying unless. Yeah, they didn't do the kick him in the nuts angle, so there is that to a bonus, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know why it wasn't on Backlash, is the honest answer to that.
I mean, I suppose looking at the match card from last night, Sheamus and Jeff had to be in there. The others were championship matches, bar Orton and Edge. So you can't, I suppose you could have squeezed in another, but then looking at the run times, you probably couldn't have done.
Edge Orton was a long old match. And I think Brian match is going to be a long match as well. So it had just been too much, I think. Plus, let's be honest, you're not going to want to put a really good wrestling match on a show with the best wrestling match ever.
Right, Backlash. So we started off on the pre-show Apollo Crews versus Andrade with Angel Garza at ringside. Kevin Owens on commentary. That ended with Kevin Owens interfering with Garza, and then Crews obviously going for the retaining against Andrade. Thoughts on that? Couldn't care less.
When you said he interfered with him, what do you mean?
He attacked.
Do you know what I really think that title needs? That title needs Kevin Owens to hold it again.
It needs
I think
a
all
really
titles need Kevin Owens to hold it.
Yeah, it's true. He makes any title, even the minor titles, just so good. People watch it because of Kevin Owens. I'd like to see more of him. You're not seeing enough of him at the minute.
Kevin Owens is something I rate so highly that I'm convinced. I convinced myself he won the WWE Championship, and he never did. Sort of that Mandela effect type thing. I have it in my head. There's a picture of him, but it's just because he feels so right with it, and he needs a title. But he should be mid-card. He should easily be world titles.
He's definitely
there's a future video. So there's a future video for us. The Mandela effect. Mandela effect of wrestling. I think there's a few of them.
But yeah, any other thoughts on that? Apart from it was there on the pre-show.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch it, didn't know what happened until you just said. Don't watch the pre-shows anymore. I didn't watch I watched the that little highlight segment on the actual main show itself. Right, okay. I didn't even notice that on the main show.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Bayley, Sasha Banks, Iconics, Bliss and Cross was up on first on the main show.
It was.
Bayley and Sasha retaining. Predictable as hell.
Pretty much. They've only just won it.
Yeah. It would have been even more of a laughing stock if they dropped it.
Yeah.
If they were trying to drop it, I could have seen it going to the Iconics just because the Iconics, they've done it before.
Yeah, saves a face team losing the titles to a face team, essentially. So, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but I couldn't have seen them losing it to Bliss and Cross. They may as well have not been there.
Yeah.
I mean, the titles. Do you know what the women's tag titles need some more work, and I think one of the main things they need for that to work is more women's tag teams.
Yeah,
there just aren't any.
But yeah, that match just non-starter for me from the start.
Like we said before, the whole division's just become stale, and it's just become, for me, there's no point even being there. It's just wasting people's time with it. That's what makes me want to switch off and fast forward. And they definitely don't want to be doing that with no crowd because it's hard enough already.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I've been complaining that the women's tag hasn't been used enough. Still don't think it should have been used last night. It should have. I would have rather seen Bayley versus Alexa Bliss for the actual main title. It's weird that the main title of the women's division is not on the card. And you either use no tag. I'd rather see the main champion fighting for her main title.
I think it's hard for the women's division because I think a lot of the time they get seen as, well, we've got to put something on.
Well, my big argument for that is look at the women that have come up and then got lost again. Bianca Belair, we were talking about this. You've got some brilliant wrestlers there. But you're not using any of them. Yeah. That's the frustrating thing.
Well, the situation comes is we don't actually know who's decided not to work and who has decided to work in this.
That's true.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Bianca Belair has been around because her husband was on the show last night.
Yeah, that's where it's probably.
Once all this happened, she came up with the Street Profits once this had all happened, didn't she?
After it all started, yeah.
After it all started, she's definitely working still.
Yeah,
it just seems to have got lost. It's a shame.
Right. Speaking of the Street Profits, I can't remember where they slotted in because they didn't have an official match in the end last night, and they're not on my list. And I only just remembered as we started this podcast with Link reminded me. shall we talk about the match?
Okay, so that match was actually advertised. It was supposed to be Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders for the titles.
Yes.
Which is why at the very end of the match, the referee said, "Your match is about to start."
Yes.
Which obviously it didn't.
And then called whichever one it was of them cute.
Yeah.
So weird.
So I've got to say, the build to this with those stupid whatever you can do, we can do better things, and the basketball and the golf, and it's been awful. Absolutely dreadful. Like every time it's come on, I've just wanted to turn over. And I'm actively trying to be positive about it. This is how bad it was. But the thing, I mean, I can't even call it a match. The thing last night was incredible. I couldn't look away. I could not look away.
It was interesting.
I spoke to someone while I was watching it last night on our wrestling group, which I'm sure we'll give a little shout out to in a little while. But I just wondered whether I was in sort of a weird fever dream. It wasn't the thoughts of a sane person that made that match. It can't have been. It
literally felt like we had entered Vince's dreams.
It just reminded me of Money in the Bank. Literally.
See, it was basically carbon copy, but with lower people on the card. The fact is, hey, let's get the Japanese guys to be with the ninjas. All right, why not? Why not? Throw them in. Why not? Get amongst it. It was.
Poor Akira Tozawa. He got a pretty cool entrance, though. He came out on a motorbike. He's got this giant dude with him. It's like, wow, okay, cool.
It was probably good fun.
Yeah.
I genuinely hope they go somewhere with Tozawa with that gimmick, and they just now give him Biker Ninjas as a tag team partners. And some weird 9-foot bloke comes out with him. Like, I genuinely hope that's the thing.
They're just not good enough. That's the worst. I'm saying they're not going to do it. That's the worst thing. That'll just get forgotten about. But that was the funniest bit.
Yeah. So good. So good. And then a weird tentacle monster when they were in the bin. Like, what the hell?
I'm sure at one point you could see one of the crew members' hand actually go into shot.
Oh, probably just wobbling it round.
And I
think the best bit was the flashbacks of like when they were playing bowling. Just all the what the hell?
Pulling turkey out of the hole. Oh, turkey bones.
It was one of those that I was doing things whilst I was watching it, and I had to stop and watch it because I was just like, what is happening?
You can't look away. It was genuinely a highlight for me. And
do you know the worst thing is though? The worst thing. Can you imagine like stars like legends like Demolition and the Rockers just sitting there watching it going, we done all that for this. These are the tag team champs. I just couldn't get up on my smoke.
It was so good.
Instead of thinking, right, we've done all that work for all those years for this.
It was so good. I don't even care. It was so good. I just, the thing is that for me, that was the highlight of the pay-per-view. Like that was the highlight of the whole show.
Oh, that's
on a show that had the greatest wrestling match ever. That was the highlight. Okay, just so good.
Interesting.
It was so good.
Sheamus Jeff Hardy. The build up, I don't get. The match, it was all right, but it wasn't.
It was I wouldn't have expected nothing less from Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. They're both good performers at the end of the day.
They give a good match.
they've had great matches in the past. This
Yeah.
isn't their first. You know.
No, I wouldn't have expected nothing less from them to put on a decent show for everyone.
Okay, so I've got
Go on.
I've got a slightly different opinion on the build to that match because I've seen a lot of people hate the build. A lot of people slate the fact that they used Jeff Hardy's past alcoholisms and drug
That
addictions.
doesn't bother me. I just find it boring.
Right. So I agree to a certain extent with that logic because obviously in the past WWF, not E, it was F at the time, used Road Warrior.
Yes,
Help me
they
out,
did.
Pete.
Hawk.
Which one?
It was Hawk.
Issues.
Yeah.
Real life issues of alcoholism and drug addiction. They used that in a story and eventually had him fall off the Titantron because of it, and it was
pushed.
It was in poor taste, like it wasn't necessary. So, yes, they have gone that way before, but this, to me, people started complaining on day one before the show had even ended, and by the time the show ended, Jeff Hardy had already come back from the police station, so he'd already obviously been freed. There was a statement put out through WWE.com or whatever saying that he'd passed every sobriety test that they'd given him, so it was clear that he was set up. But nobody wanted to let the story progress to get to that point. Everybody just wanted to jump on the "we're offended" bandwagon instantly.
Yeah,
And I think that fans spoil wrestling now because they can't long-term book things because people get too easily upset.
Well, we even had a discussion about it straight away, didn't we? And he was like, think about it in the long run. And even, like you said, Jeff Hardy had some input into that story as well. He's the kind of person that would have gone, actually, I think that's a good idea. We'll use that and run with it. And when so I spoke to you and we was like, actually, that's a good point. He mostly would have. And see how it goes. It kind of worked.
I drew the line at the whole pissing in a cup and throwing it on Sheamus the other night, though. That's. Do we need that? Do we need the toilets? I don't think we do anymore.
That was a direct rip-off of a storyline that they've ran before years ago with Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels. And the exact line that they used on that exact date was, "It's better to be pissed off than pissed on," and then threw the cup. Jeff Hardy used that exact same line that Shawn Michaels used however many years ago. And apparently it was originally done in Robin Hood Men in Tights as well, which is where that originally came from, that line. So it's a story that is recycled.
I didn't know
that angle. Whether that bit was needed or not, maybe not. It's a cool little throwback. But
I just don't know if we need the toilet humor anymore. That's it. It's a like you said, it's a cool reference.
It's aimed to kids still as well, remember? Like it's kids
Kids
find humor funny. Vince finds toilet humor funny.
He does. Yeah, that's been said many times.
Find toilet humor funny. So it is what it is. I think we've just got to get used to that sort of thing. To be honest with you, it's not going to go anywhere.
No. Right, Asuka, Nia Jax.
Maybe.
And do you know what? Actually, one bit I really, really, really liked when Asuka was going to pull Nia Jax over the ropes when she was hanging down, and it just botched, and you actually see Nia Jax just basically dive over. I just found that one of the funniest things. I think Asuka actually managed to drag her out of the ring by her wrist, and it was like, look at the size difference. It just really made me laugh, and I was like, it's so bad it was funny.
There was a bit for me during the build-up where Asuka was in the ring, and then Asuka's music hit, and this strange person came out wearing an Asuka mask, and no one knew who it was. It was really, really weird.
Nothing to do with the size.
I couldn't not mention that. It was just, yeah.
Literally, could have only been two people in WWE right now that would have been female. No one else is even close to Nia Jax or Tamina. Was the other one I was thinking.
I suppose it could have been Tamina. They are or were allies at one point.
Yeah.
I didn't think of Tamina, to be fair. That could have been a possibility as a swerve. Look, I've got my ally. You've got Kairi Sane. Yeah, but no.
I think it was kind of obvious who it was, though.
Yeah.
Just a little,
Do you reckon, mate? Do you reckon?
a little bit.
Just a tittle.
Gotta be. That's gotta be.
That's gotta be Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I suppose it had to end in a double count out. They're trying to build Nia as this indestructible thing and still trying to make it look clean.
They couldn't have taken a title off of Asuka already.
They were never going to.
No, it's because Charlotte Flair's taken that.
But they were never going to.
They definitely could have.
Are we all thinking the same thing of who's going to take the title off of Asuka?
Charlotte's going to be champion soon enough.
Yeah.
It's just got to happen.
Yeah.
And again, that's another reason that I'd have liked to seen Rhea Ripley come up with her, because I wouldn't have minded seeing Charlotte and Rhea Ripley actually enter the women's tag division as a tag team, because I think those two as a tag team could be great, and the eventual feud from them breaking up as a tag team would have been even better, which would have eventually led to the championship as well. Like I think they missed a trick with that.
I'd have actually quite liked seeing, going along the Charlotte Rhea together, actually some sort of versus Bayley and Sasha for the tag titles, and having
they definitely work well together.
Tag teams at the same time. So Sasha and Bayley fall out, and Charlotte and Rhea fall out at the same time. I think that could have led to something very decent, but it's not looking likely.
No, not in a minute.
No, unfortunately not.
Braun and Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
That music video was...
That was funny.
I loved it.
Match.
Say again.
I think the music video was better than the match.
Yeah.
I don't remember the match. I remember the music video.
I think the match was only about 7 minutes long, so it's no wonder you don't remember it. For a Universal match, it's not a squash. Nuts.
I say I understand him. I understand him squashing someone. I understand him squashing two people. But the Miz and Morrison are on a hell of a push. Well, not even a push, but they're on a hell of a tear. I think the dirt sheet is better than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And they deserve more. Like, they're heels. Like, make them horrible heels again and give them a tag run. Give them something.
That's what I was just about to say. There's no them against the New Day would be brilliant again.
Yeah, I do. They would be against New Day. I still want to see them. I still want to see them feud, and then I wouldn't mind seeing Miz even feuding for the Intercontinental Championship, because in my opinion, current day climate, the current day, there is no better Intercontinental Champion than the Miz. He made that belt back to what it was, and it's sort of actually grabbing it again.
Yeah, that match frustrated me just because it was no one was going to gain anything out of it, and I think that's what had done me in, because they can all have a bit of a push or something, but no one gained anything.
What's the story with Braun's car?
He likes that car. It's a nice car. It's his car, and it's that car, and that's it. There isn't really a story. It's just Braun has a very nice car, and Braun likes this car, so don't touch this car, otherwise Braun gets cross.
But then they fixed the car, and then the Street Profits broke the car.
I did like that.
I genuinely hope this becomes a weekly thing for Braun Strowman to have his car repaired and for it to get destroyed every week. Genuinely hope it does, because it's great.
And then there's the rest of
Braun Strowman's new entrance thing. I really like it.
Yeah, I think it was cool.
The whole thing with the train coming on and the smoke and stuff to make it actually look like a train. They've not just gone the comedy route of just going, hee, hee. You know, it's. I like it.
You leave Diesel alone.
In a real arena, because I think that would be quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Like a Mania entrance for that would have been. Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what it'll be like.
With a tank. Braun Strowman with a full train. That would have been sick.
If only we knew somebody going to Mania. Eh?
Ah, yeah. For you that don't know us personally, these two are going to WrestleMania in 2021, and I am not. So
WrestleMania 37. My first WrestleMania.
disappointment for me. Actually.
My first WrestleMania.
And it's not my first WrestleMania.
Oh,
I'm not salty. I swear.
My second wrestling pay-per-view in 2 years, though, because I was there when Edge returned. Just wanted to throw that one out there.
Yeah, I was wondering whether you would actually get to the last match before you mentioned that.
I needed to. At some point, I needed to.
He was
but that was a nice little tie-in.
I gotta say it.
Hey, but that was a nice little tie-in so that you can now progress.
Last match before we have the greatest match ever. Sorry, greatest wrestling match ever. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley.
I actually forgot about that.
Yeah, I was saying you skipped one. Yeah?
Nah, I don't. For me, I just don't like Lashley. I don't rate him. I don't even know if I've ever rated him. Not even on his first run. I've never rated him.
I've never liked him.
He bores me. He's got no character. He needs a voice piece, and MVP is not the right person for that.
No, MVP.
No. I slightly disagree. I actually quite like the pairing of Lashley and MVP. I liked the pairing of Lashley and Leo Rush, but that was just because it was so annoying that all I wanted him to do was get killed. It just every week. Just
he was good at that, Lashley, wasn't he?
Yes, he was very good at that. But I think the whole it's a whole different mentality from Lashley at the moment, and I really enjoyed that match. The fact that it started before the bell and he just instantly went to the attack. The fact that Drew hadn't even got off his jacket and things before the match even started, and the ring bell and the bell had rang, and they'd started getting submissions in again. Actually, I think it was very authentic of someone that was desperate to try and get this belt and to get it done. The Lana stuff's just tedious.
This is what I was going to say. How many times has Lana had that same exact thing happen to cost someone a match again and again and again?
I'd rather Lana disappeared and she went with Rusev and they reinvented themselves elsewhere and actually come up with something a lot more original than essentially what is the real her. She just walks around and just is there. I think she's got the acting ability. She ain't got the wrestling ability, but she's got the acting ability that she could mix it up. Whether she will or not, I don't know. I think so.
She's not even that bad in the ring anymore, to be fair.
Yeah, but she's not. Would say she isn't good enough to be on the main roster.
Well, she isn't Charlotte Flair level, obviously, but she's.
Mind you, they do need a lot. They don't, because we said before, they're wasting a lot of brilliant talent already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
They don't need Lana there. I'd rather she went off elsewhere and reinvented herself with old Ruru. The bit with that match that wound me up a little bit was there was 3 or 4 botches that really took me head in again.
I know when you're about.
They did this the whole pickup thing. He picks him up on his shoulders, went to flip him. He landed Drew on his bloody head.
You just dropped him.
I just what are you doing? And then he picks him up, run him into the ring apron, and then I can't remember if it was in the same move, but in that corner of the outside of the ring, he suplexed him, and I'm convinced he was supposed to go into the timekeeper's area, and he just hit the apron on the top, hit the barricade on the top. And that's just Bobby Lashley for me all over. He does it a lot. He botches a lot because he just seems to want to do things too fast. He's got the power that he could do it a little bit slower, just that little bit. And he wants to do it too fast. And Drew obviously clearly wasn't ready for it, for half of the things that he was doing. But I think it summed up from that match. It was just predictable, and I think it summed up the whole of the pay-per-view. Really, it was predictable.
So does that mean you're going to be winning the predictions contest then, Dan?
No, I got them wrong.
It was predictable, but I got them wrong. Yeah.
I actually think I only got one wrong.
Because I did the thing of like
Tried to be smarter than you are.
Yeah,
and you went for the ones that aren't predictable.
I took the risk. I went risky. Ah well. Orton versus Edge was the final match. Thoughts on this?
It was long.
Did you not enjoy it? This is what the question. We haven't spoken about this even slightly.
No.
Did you not like it? Like?
I'll be honest, about 10 minutes before we went live, that fell down. And I thought, don't you dare do it.
Just going to put the curtain there instead. We're going to have to change my background halfway through.
Yeah, no one will ever notice.
But yeah, so did you not enjoy it, like the Edge versus Orton match?
I didn't dislike it.
Mm.
The fact that they piped in crowd noise, I thought was a great idea. The fact that the weird camera angle right at the very first lockup.
Yes, underneath.
Yeah, like
where'd that goal come from?
One point in the match when Orton suplexed Edge, and the camera was right there. Literally, I thought the cameraman was going to get hit. That was a bit like.
But they did the same thing right at the very, very first lockup of the match. They both locked up, and the camera was underneath them inside the lockup, looking up at them. Like,
yeah, okay. This is
not before they locked up. I didn't see a random small person running around in the ring with a camera. I just didn't see that, so I don't buy it. You know, that took me out of it a little bit. I get why they did it, but that was too much. There was interesting throwbacks in there. That the fact that they used the pedigree during the match. There was several good moments in the match.
I really like the throwback moves.
Well, I'll tell you what. When I watched it, I went in there. I was like, right, let's give it a go. And I watched it, and I was like, do you know what? For me, that's some of the best stuff they've done in a long, long time. That match, I really, really like. And I've struggled watching lately with no crowd and just basic matches that bored me. But this actually got me liking it like I used to.
There was a crowd.
Yeah. No, but it's just little bits and pieces that put me off lately. And I was like, I need something to get me back into it. That match kind of got me wanting more again for the first time in a long time.
So whose moves did we actually see then? They saw Eddie Guerrero's, Christian, Rock, Triple H,
Rock.
I said the Rock.
Yeah, Rock Bottom. Who else was that? I think that was it, wasn't it? Eddie, Christian, Triple H, and The Rock.
I really liked it.
Yeah, I think I really thought Orton was going to do it, but it was one of those matches. So many times you're like, hold on, oh no, yes. No one knew. It was so back and forth again, and that's what I liked. It wasn't too obvious. Either one of them could have said it. There was a good story to it.
Absolutely, it was silly booking, if you ask me, to say it's the greatest wrestling match ever. But I think looking at that, they just acquired the rights to the Greatest Showman track, and they didn't know what to do with it. So they went, right, let's make this the greatest show then.
I think that's the thing. It was a really, really good wrestling match. Never the greatest, but it was a really good one.
I really, really, really agree. I really enjoyed it. Did it help that the rest of the show was so plain? Probably.
Maybe,
but for me, it was still a standout match for a while, to be fair. Not even of the night. I actually would say for a while.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is for the first match for quite a while that I've actually gone, I really, really like it. It got me back into wrestling again. So I wanted to watch. It was a long match, but I wouldn't have minded it being a little bit longer if that's the kind of match it was in. I was getting into it that much.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I wouldn't have minded. Fair enough, it was long and it got a bit like, oh, I'm still going, but I wouldn't have minded seeing a few more minutes. Definitely, I wouldn't have minded about it.
No, not at all. The other question is, going back to Styles, Brian, would you have made that match a bit shorter so you could even halved it? You probably could have got in Styles, Brian in there.
I don't think I would have shortened that match. I think I would have left it just how it was.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put Styles Daniels on the pay-per-view. I think where it was fine. I found it interesting going into that match, knowing that Edge had an injury.
I was about to say that's why I've been recruited to know that he's going to be out.
Yeah, because obviously it was pre-recorded, so apparently Edge suffered a torn
tricep,
I believe, during the match.
Yeah.
So he's out now for up to 8 months, I believe.
Yeah, because he was supposed to wrestle 5 matches this year, and they said the rubber stamp was going to be at SummerSlam. And obviously that ain't going to take place now. He ain't going to be wrestling 5 matches.
That match was supposed to be SummerSlam originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was 1-1 out. They were supposed to rubber stamp a 3rd match again then, and that was going to be the end of that little battle. But yeah, it's kind of thrown everything out now.
Fair enough. Right, so I think that wraps us up, lads. Did you enjoy that? First ever podcast?
Yeah.
Thought it was good. Pretty enjoyable. If anybody's watching this wants to let us know how they've enjoyed it in the comments, and if you can, hit a like button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, then make sure you follow our page. And that's about it for us to wrap it up. We want to give a few shout outs to our Twitch, which you can find us at, which is what link? At
the Heel Project.
The Heel Project. Find us on Facebook, The Heel. I think that's at The Heel Projects with an S on Facebook. And then we also have a Facebook page, The Heel Project. Come find us over there. Wherever we are, we've got it there. Come find us.
We're on Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes.
We'll be everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Facebook.
You may have seen me and Pete repping the EWC merch. We're part. And Link as well. I forgot. So if you're into wrestling and you've somehow found us not through our wrestling group, come and find us over there. We're currently 850 members strong. We talk wrestling. We encourage mental health, help mental health, talk people through it. It's good fun over there. Another lad that we want to shout out as well, if you want to give him a follow, is Green Machine HD on Twitch. Good lad. He quite often streams retro wrestling. I think that's about it today, lads.
Just want to let everybody know that we are planning on running our first competition in our next podcast.
Yeah. So the next competition we will do in the next podcast. We will tell you the rules at the start of the podcast, and you will be in with a chance of winning some sort of wrestling merch mystery box. Are we happy now, boys? Have I forgot anything?
I believe all that's left to do is to say thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Take it easy, guys. See ya.
See ya. Bye.
Peace.
Summer.